Everything you said we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know.
My name is John Bratsis. I'm Associate Director of University Applications, which basically covers any software application here at Quinnipiac University. The great majority of them that are known to the masses here would probably be Blackboard, email, MyQ, mobile app, and the big one that we use, which is our ERP, which is called Ellucian Colleague. And in this ERP exists information about all our faculty, all our staff, all our students, and personal secured attributes that we use to populate things like ePortfolio, Blackboard. So if there's an application, my group has a hand in making sure the appropriate data is being passed. The other hat that I wear, I'm also a professor of information systems here as well. And some of the courses I teach are Computer Information Systems 101 and also CIS 125, which is basically database analysis and design. And how do you take a conceptual idea and basically turn it into a case study and a reality potentially if you want to pursue it. So a little background of me, my teaching hat, and also my professional hat and what I do.
I think a lot of people have this this misconception that whenever you have to deal with technology, it turns into like a depiction of like the Matrix, where it's just, you know, binary code and whatnot. How would you say your perception of it is? That's
a great question to ask, you know, and that is completely false. That is it's not just ones and zeros and things that are indecipherable, right? The biggest role in information technology today, right, is that of something we call the business analyst, right? And the business analyst is basically a person who sits right in the middle of the programmers and the actual administrators.
Like a liaison.
Exactly. Perfect. Liaison who's in the middle of those programmers and administrators. Exactly. The difference with that person in the middle is they have an understanding of technology to a point where they can kind of speak on the behalf of the programmers in a way, in a context that isn't boring or mind-numbing, right? And translate it to those everyday users that are in the system that make the business run, whether it's through admissions or whether it's, if you're in a company or business, through invoicing or client outreach or whatever. And then that business analyst takes the needs from the administrators, translates them to the programmers, and kind of is that intermediary to get results. It's not really about the ones and zeros. It's about truly understanding what data is being passed, how is it used, how is it scheduled, what times is certain data reporting needed to make informed decisions. So while the Matrix looks cool and it fills up a screen and in high def, you know, you can only imagine, it's far from the truth. It's having an intimate understanding of a process that makes an organization or business run.
So to be this liaison, so to speak, what kind of skills would you say one has to possess to do essentially what you do? So
to be that business analyst, to be that liaison that can speak to both sides, first of all, you have to have great social skills. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of times when I teach in class and I say the number one thing I want you to get out of this class is having a level of comfort and a level of social skills that will allow you to be effective in teams. And people look at me like, you can't be serious, that's too straightforward, that's too easy. Well, it's really what we're looking for, because if you can interface and interact with someone who's a pure programmer, who looks at things very analytically, very mathematically, and maybe doesn't have, and which isn't always the case, but maybe doesn't have those skills to really open up an end user and understand how they use a system or what they need or how they can make it work. If you can't be social enough and comfortable enough to kind of mesh with both of those sides, you won't be effective in this role. So social skills are number one. The second thing I would say is responsibility from a project management standpoint. So in university applications, one of the biggest and newest things that we've rolled out within the department is self-service. And in doing so, there were certain timelines we had to meet, and there were certain criteria that had to be satisfied. So we had to make sure that those dates and times were met with the aid of the programmers and the administration to test, implement, and put in place. So project management, social skills, and also the ability to think outside of the box. So solutions in technology aren't really cut and dry. They're kind of like a Sudoku puzzle to a degree, right? You have to find the right number to make it fit, but sometimes you might think about other things in the process that might fit somehow in a different way or different context. So thinking outside the box is definitely helpful as well. So I would say those are my top three.
What would you say you specifically, where your office is, quote unquote? Do you work more in the field, or is it more just in front of a computer?
So when I first started off at the help desk, and this is probably over a decade ago, it was in the field. So break fix, mechanical issues, to software issues, to network issues, to user input issues, right? Understanding, comprehension. In my current role, quite frankly, it's more office-based. It's more me in front of this screen fielding calls to our work order request system. Phone call like we just got a few moments ago, whether it be a particular application isn't working, or a student needs to be able to access self-service who's an admitted student but doesn't have the rights as of yet, or whatever.
Problem solving.
Problem solving, exactly. And the problem solving, as you continue to move up through the hierarchy or through your roles and positions in an organization, ends up becoming more mental than the physicality of going out there and physically fixing things, for the most part. So in terms of understanding the business process, I have to understand exactly which activities and processes precede each other, and how they work in unison to get the end results, whether it's reports, whether it's access to a system, whether let's take a hypothetical,